Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Andrew Frey. I'm Scum2000. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's pretty wild that over the last couple months I'm uploading 2 whole videos. But really, this is actually a part of a larger series that I'm going to be working on. It's all about working with trans and queer creators who are doing big things in our community. And whether that's from a business standpoint, whether that's creating products or facilitating products or designs, or that's in terms of activism and finding the ways in which all those things intersect. So today I'm actually sitting down with Saya. Now you'll notice I have a little bit of a longer beard. This was a little while ago, right before the holidays, and got a little caught up before I was able to edit and post it. They still are under MyPack FTM, however that is changing. They now go by MyPack Strap, but they're waiting to get the change for the domain. But you can check out, so it says join the pack here. And here's exactly what they actually make. This is the MyPack Classic Soft Packing Strap. That's what I have. When the Kickstarter was launched a little while ago, I purchased 2, and it's by far the best packing device I've ever used. Now, they have a couple of other ones, twin packs, soft packing strap. This is Saya, who we're speaking to today. And they also have a couple of other sizing options. So colors, different pouch options, fallow pouch, which they have just started. They just launched recently. So it's a growing business that is really cool. And here is some of the B-roll for that. Okay, so overall, this brand is just a lot of fun, and it takes a topic that is sometimes really hard to talk about, which is transition-related topics in general, but especially packing, and it makes it something that's more joyful and easier than anything else I've ever tried in the past, because I am somebody that owns a product. Now, you will notice there are 2 problems with the recording that we did. The first one is that the first minute and a half of the recording on Saya's end is very low, but I adjust that later on so it gets a lot better. Just hold tight. And at the end, we didn't really do like a formal goodbye, so it'll be a little bit of an abrupt ending. But I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope you take a minute to check out Saya's brand, which is MyPack. My name is Andrew Frey. I am sitting here today with Saya, and we are going over its MyPack strap now, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the company's name is MyPack, but the handle for Instagram is MyPack.
Okay, cool.
My name is Saya Ruiz. I am 33 years old, and I am the creator of MyPack straps.
MyPack strap. MyPack. That's fine. I know. What I thought was really cool and what made me excited about having a conversation with you was I know recently you did change your handle, and like. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, it's the easiest thing in the world to do, to be really inclusive of like people in the community, but it's not something you see all the time. Mm-hmm. So when it was really cool to just watch you just kind of react to it and just say like, oh, cool, we can change the name, we can be more inclusive, no issues.
Yeah, I think that that's a really important quality to have in general, is just to be open to input. You know, I had a couple people reach out and say like, hey, we feel left out. And it was a purely strategic move when I first did it, because right. I was starting a page from scratch and I wanted people to check out the Kickstarter, and
right.
So I wanted it to be easily identifiable, not just as like some dog trainer or something like MyPack. What does that mean, you know?
Right.
And actually the page MyPack itself is in use, but it hasn't been used for years, and so we've actually reached out to the person who has that page, and we're hoping to maybe get it someday and just be plain old MyPack.
Right.
But it was a strategic move. And so then when people started saying, hey, you know, I'm non-binary and I feel left out, I was like, well, I don't want to be uninclusive. Like, I'm doing, you know, every size possible, you know, 2X to, or XS to 3X, you know, all these different size pouches, so that I can be inclusive of people. I don't want to like inherently be pushing people away because of it. And then again, the same thing with the website. We tried to get mypack.com, but it's owned by somebody and they want a bunch of money for it.
Right.
And so the next best thing was MyPack FTM. So, I don't want anybody to feel excluded, but at the same
No,
time,
yeah.
I'm somebody that's identified as that, and it's a product that is made for people who want to wear Packers daily. That's my bottom line. I want it to be comfortable enough that you will wear it daily and that it'll make you feel better every single day. And a lot of those people identify as trans men or FTM. I know that's kind of like going out of fashion now, people.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because
language changes. We have to change. We have to adapt. We have to evolve.
It evolves and grows, but also like I totally understand because when I first started my transition like 6 years ago now, that was the language. So from the very start of my identity and like looking and trying to find people like me, FTM was what you used for everything, And I know obviously language changes and stuff, but it is also from a business standpoint, I can understand. You ran a really successful Kickstarter. A lot of things that people don't understand, and I'm not saying that this means to change back or anything, but a lot of things people don't understand is you want to use language that is very, very easy to find. So FTM, even though, it's not inclusive of all non-binary identities, even though I do identify as non-binary and I have used FTM because I use it in a lot of medical contexts, but like, I can imagine that was a part of it too, You want people to know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, but then, evolving and going with things, that's just how it is. Every business has to evolve.
Totally. And generationally, too, there's a large age spans in the trans community, right? And so people that are a little bit older may still be using words like transsexual and FTM, and some people that are younger are like super adamantly against it. And it's everybody has the right to use the language they want to use. Bottom line is at the end of the day, they're all welcome in MyPack. No,
of course. Okay, so I did want to talk about. I read on your Instagram you talked about how you started modifying clothing at like a very young age. And that's kind of what led you into this. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I was like coming into 6th grade, up until that point, I would always wear my brother's clothes. I was like, hand-me-downs, all that sort of stuff. And then one day my mom went into my closet and she just tore up everything. She like took scissors to it and just cut everything, threw everything away. She was like, "We're not doing this," and she took me on like a whole shopping spree and got me like girl clothes.
Okay.
And so
did she like suspect something or?
I would assume so. I haven't talked to them since my transition. We're not in communication anymore. So, but I would assume that they did suspect something, and then that's why they put the brakes on it. I don't have the greatest memory of my childhood.
Nah.
Awesome.
Totally understand. Totally understand.
But so at that point, I was, I had to go through like 2 years of like being forced to wear these girl clothes. And then when I got into high school, I made a friend who wanted to learn to sew.
Okay.
And my grandma had kind of like taught me how to use a machine. She had a machine. And so I'd run my grandma's machine before. And so then me and this friend wanted to get sewing machines and learn to sew together. So my grandma actually bought me a sewing machine and I learned to sew with this friend. And I quickly realized that I could dress more and more masculine if I'd made the clothes.
Okay. Because it kind of is like traditionally sewing is seen as like a more like feminine art. So it's like, oh, well, at least they're doing this,
Yeah, it was a loophole for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, learn to sew. That's great. And then I was like, haha, I'm going to sew bondage pants and long boy shorts. Yeah. So it turned into me making a lot of pants and hoodies.
Very cool, though. I feel like that's something, when I was young, I didn't really modify a lot of clothing, but I used to, to be honest, I used to steal clothes all the time because as soon as I saw something that I was like, we don't have terms when we're young for gender euphoria, but as soon as I saw something, and I wouldn't take anything crazy, it'd be like for my siblings or from a family member or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like such a kinship with like those types of like finding your first pair. Like I remember my first T-shirt that made me feel awesome. I remember my first binder, And I have to say, now I spent 6 years of my transition not packing, never doing it because it was uncomfortable. I didn't like silicone. I don't like silicone packers because they feel weird on my skin.
Sticky on the skin.
Yep. I didn't have $40 to buy a single pair of underwear while I was living paycheck to paycheck. So when you first reached out to me and we were talking and I was like kind of looking at your Kickstarter, you offered to give me one. But I was like, I can already tell that this is going to be something I love. I think I need a couple of these. And that's why I wanted to get it myself because I need to get a couple of them for me.
Yeah.
And now I have that experience again of putting something on and for the first time feeling like a type of gender euphoria with it, which is kind of cool. So how did you go from obviously creating bondage, right? Bondage outfits you're talking about.
I mean, sort of. Like, I was just like a punk rock kid, you know. So I was like,
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
pants and like with things with a lot of straps, and
Right,
I
right.
don't hate it at all.
So then how do you go from that to creating, packers, well, or sorry, packing straps? Where did
Yeah,
that go?
yeah. So, I mean, I kept making clothes. I've made clothes for a long time, but as I transitioned, I just, I had never found something that was very comfortable,
Okay.
and so I would just kind of like recycle old underwear bands and make pouch, and that was just what I used. And it's just something I've done for myself for years, like honestly,
Okay.
since I was like in my early 20s. It's just a design that I've
So
had
you've
that I've
been on
used for
this
myself.
forever. This is like not new to you. So one day you were like,
I
wait
mean,
a second.
I kept like anticipating that someone would make it. Honestly,
Right.
like I remember when I got my first packing strap. It was from Aslan Leather, which like now that I remember telling my wife about it, she's like, that sounds so gross because it was a little thing of leather and an
Uh,
elastic strap. And leather against your skin too, awful. And then you like all that was in the front was a little silicone or a little elastic tee that would hold the balls, and then the phallus would kind of.
right.
So it was totally unstable. It would like
It could flip
fall
out.
off the front. Yeah, it would do a flip out. It was, and I would get super sweaty and all this stuff. So then I was just like, what am I doing this for? So then
Right.
I started to make my own, and I started to figure out which fabrics worked better. Like there's some fabrics that are too unstable.
Right.
So then I started to like figure out which knits and stuff worked best, and then I like, a few years back finally was just like, I can't believe nobody else has done this. I guess I should like start thinking about what I want to do it, and what would I call it. And I thought of the name MyPack. It was like the first thing that came to my mind because
Yeah.
it's in my mind. It's always been it's my pack. It's
Right.
That's just what it is, and it also has the connotation of community,
Mhm.
and I really liked that a lot, and the masculine energy of the wolf, and I think a lot of people are identified with that, so
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of like felt right for the logo and the design. So then I had actually some trans folks in Austin, Texas, design the logo for me and
Nice.
the font set for me. Everything that's ever been designed for MyPack has been done by trans people, which I'm really proud of.
That's awesome.
So then we had another web designer do the sizing chart for us, just a few little things. But basically, I got the sample elastic made like 3 years ago, made up the design, tested it out myself, and just kind of got swept up. I do massage therapy, or I have
Okay.
done massage therapy for the past 6 years professionally, and I made really good money doing it. I was really had a lot of job satisfaction doing it, so I didn't
Right.
really like feel the need to do anything else. And then Corona 2020 hit, right? 2020 happened, and I had to get a new game because massage. I don't want to be doing massage in a pandemic,
Right.
and I just I thought about this idea that I've been having for a long time, and I had
Yeah.
these samples, and so I just made an Instagram, and made a video with a friend, again a trans guy,
So
produced the video for me for the
at
Kickstarter.
what point did you? Oh, so was it Instagram and then Kickstarter, or was it Kickstarter and then Instagram?
I actually started the Instagram first because
Okay.
I knew that I needed some sort of visibility in order for the Kickstarter to take momentum.
Right, a base.
So I started the Instagram and just like said like, hey, this is a design I'm launching a Kickstarter for in a few months.
Right. Okay.
And I started to talk to people about the idea, and I just had photos of the samples up. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page on the Instagram, now you can see like the old samples.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some made with like whatever elastic. Like I just was kind of messing around with ideas. So yeah, started the Insta, then the Kickstarter, and just kept promoting. Essentially only on Instagram, which was
Right.
pretty cool.
Instagram, you could do so much. I think honestly, a lot of people when they start off with like, and I did the same thing. I'm not like a very successful business owner per se, but I run a ton of different projects. A lot of people start off and they spread themselves way too thin. They go Facebook, and then they have to figure out Pinterest, and then each one deserves its own type of content. So if you can't deliver the specific type of content to say Twitter, and you're just reposting stuff from Instagram, it's not going to go very far, and it's not really going to provide people in that area with the value they're looking for. So a big thing with MyPack and what I really like about it is I love all of your marketing. All of that, what it was for me is like, you mentioned something earlier too, creating something like about community, right? And then having the term and have it be something that inspires like collectivity, right? That's a huge problem for trans people across the board, where when you were trying to find things to help with your own gender, dysphoria, and to find like affirming clothing items, I remember when I was younger, you had to go to a lot of places, even for like, you know, straps for other things, you know, you have to go to like sex shops there's no problem with going to a spot like that, but a lot of times the language they're using is weird. The language is, you know, it's usually bad language. I don't even want to say it. It's usually terrible language, right? So it's awesome to have a space that is made by and for people the same exact experience, and also that is like completely safe, which is really cool. And now your marketing is what really sold me. When I started scrolling, you know, normally what you see is you see a lot of very serious still shots that people take, or the shots are like kind of hypersexualized in a way because they're done at a certain angle with a certain amount of stuff. But everything on your Instagram is just hilarious. And a lot of it is also like, you know, it is, you know, you are showing off parts of the body, but it never feels weird. I never feel like, oh, I shouldn't be looking at that, you know? So what led you to you know what, I need to do slow motion, like, what inspired that?
I mean, the dick flick is a big feature of the MyPack self-packing strap. Let's be honest. Like, it's something that there isn't any other way that is so secure, and that it just feels right to do that. So, actually, that was the thing that really skyrocketed the Kickstarter. I went from getting like, you know, half as many pledges as I got the days that I posted those, to like it really being successful. So, I think, you know, I just wanted to show people that there was realistic movement, and it just seemed like the best way to do it. And I'm just kind of a jokester. I can't resist a pun or a joke. I kind of wanted us to be like the Old Spice of the underwear game, you know,
like the guy in the commercials who's walking through like the explosions and climbing through everything.
Like, your dick is still secure.
Exactly. That's awesome. And yeah, and that's also, it's so cool, like, just from a business standpoint, because you're having fun with it, you're injecting your own personality, and when you're using social media to market anything, your personality is everything, you know? People don't buy into a product just because it's a cool product. There are millions of amazing products.
How many times can I post a picture of this? You know what I mean?
Or a logo, or put a logo on a t-shirt and just try to sell that or something, right?
Exactly.
You're showing literally why it works.
I also, you know, when we started with like the idea of like how I wanted to market it, I also said like I want to be like the Marlboro Man, like, you know, like it's like a lifestyle that you're selling. It's not just the item; it's the fact that like you can do anything with it, and that you can really like chill, and it's easy, and you don't feel it. You know, I've heard so many times I forget that I'm packing, and for me that is the biggest accomplishment, because then that means that you feel totally aligned with it, and it doesn't feel like something extra. And when I first started to try and pack when I was younger, you're just strapped in. It's like you're about to go on a roller coaster. Like, it's so much shit. And like, I've always had a little bit of a belly. I've always had bigger thighs. So like, wearing jock straps, I get chafed. You know, wearing things with a wider waistband, the waistband rolls, and it's unusable in a few months because it gives me dysphoria, and I'm thinking about this rolled up thing on my waist. You know, I just, like, every little detail about the MyPack, I've like really thought about my own experience and how I want to like make that, you know, fine tune it and make it a little bit better for the people that are using MyPack.
Yeah, it seems like something that wasn't just thrown together in order to sell it really quick, but something that was designed over a long period of time that was made to address some of the biggest problems. And for me, you know, I have the same experience with packing where, you know, honestly for me, one of the issues I ran into in the beginning was I had no frame of reference for what packing, you know, while I was young, I identified just as like a hardcore lesbian. So I saw a guy's penis one time, right? I was at a party, I was drunk out of my mind. I'm sitting down, I'm hanging out with this girl, and then it's my buddy. His name was Happy Tree Little Bird. Happy Tree Little Bird, if you're watching this, what's up, man? His parents had totally normal names, but they just were hippies, so they named him that. And I was like, hey man, you know, I've never seen one. And I was like just coming out as trans at the time. I was like, you know, could you show me? And he was like, are you serious? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you know, just, you know, whatever, just show me. So he did right there in the parking lot. It was crazy. And that was, so when I started packing, I was like, where is this supposed to sit? How is it supposed to move? What am I supposed to, like, and I think about these things all the time because that's what you think about. Like, I'm stealth at work right now, right? So, not as stealth if anyone sees this, right? Whatever. But, you know, you always have to think about how people are looking at your body, you know? Kind of worried about getting clocked, worried about people knowing, or just inviting awkward questions. So like, for example, when going to the gym and you're wearing a pair of shorts, if you look at every other masculine presenting person there, you're gonna see something, right? For me, it was I can't wear something really constricting and something that has something in it that's gonna move around and
Absolutely.
perform exercises. That makes no sense, right? Also, when I'm going to work, I can't spend so much time worried that something is moving around, flipping around, and I also don't want to be uncomfortable. I'm there 40 hours a week. Why would I want to be uncomfortable?
And you don't want to be the guy that's touching your junk all the time.
Yeah, yeah. We
You
already
don't want
have
to be
that in
the
my
guy with
office. I'm good. I don't want to be the next one. Yeah, and
Yeah.
also you don't want to run to the bathroom all the time to deal with it. And while going to the bathroom, that's a big thing too. You don't want to go to the bathroom, have to wrestle out of everything. For me, that drove my dysphoria insane. Just the whole it's harder to go to the bathroom. Like, it should not be harder for me to go to the bathroom right now. So when I first started using this, and all of a sudden I pulled everything down, I realized it was just sitting there on my hips and not in the way. I was like, wait a second, what?
Then that's another reason for the thin band is because this is a smaller band than any underwear band on the market. So everything's going to feel a little bit bigger, so you'll have a frame of reference of what's what, so you won't go pulling it down on yourself. For me, that would always elicit like crazy dysphoria was when I would pull the packing underwear down. There's the bulge down in my pants, and now I have to deal with this. Like,
Right.
don't look down.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Now, that was a big reason why I decided to take those photos on the toilet for the Kickstarter.
No, of course.
Like, look, here's my underwear, here's my dick.
Yeah, that's it. And there's nothing cooler than that. When that first happened for me, I was like, I still feel pretty good, because I'm not I'll never be somebody that uses an STP. I'll never, just because logistically it would not work for me. And And I'm ADHD too. Like, I can't spend that much time thinking about something I have to constantly clean, constantly maintain, look for problems or whatever. So this, plus I'm using I think I told you, it's MyParts design. They do cloth packers. Yeah,
they're cool.
Cutest packers ever. I have an extra. I'm sending out an extra one later today, but so cute. And then I would show the you have the pack. I don't have the pack. Yeah, exactly. Literally, I had this before, and I was like, I can't really just use it just sitting in my underwear. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy at the bathrooms who pulls my pants down and a stuffed animal dick falls out,
rolls into the next song.
slaps over, and they're just like, do you drop something?
I mean, I had that happen back in the day with the Mr. Limpy when I was using just a jock strap to pack.
Right.
And I just flipped. That's everyone's worst nightmare. I just talked to someone that's doing construction. He's like, my worst nightmare is it falling in the porta potty. Thank you so much for making it so I don't have to
because
worry
then
about
what do you do? How do you even hide it from there? Like,
you just leave it. And then there's a dick in the porta potty.
There is a unique bonding moment between all people who have to travel with non-attached penises.
It's really fun to get so many people reaching out right now.
Right.
Everybody's like having their first experiences with it, and so many people are just reaching out and being like, thank you, like, this is so cool, this is so awesome, like, I forget it's on, gender euphoria, like all these
Right.
sort of like terms I'm hearing a lot, and it's like really exciting because it like I said before, it has been this little secret that I've had, and it's
Right.
something that is just, it's so simple, and it alleviates so many issues that have been we've been experiencing previously with packing underwear or packing jock straps, or even like the pre-packed underwear.
Right.
I just had someone for the first time comment this morning about sensory feedback with their partner and experiencing like cuddling and groping and like those sorts of like intimate moments.
Right.
With the MyPack and the silicone packer, it gives a lot of feedback, and that's another thing that I have always really loved that I can get anywhere else, even with packing underwear, because it's never really in the right place.
Right.
So all the things.
Yeah, no, honestly, everything. I watch your story all the time just so I can see what other people are saying, and to me it's really cool because my job right now, my full-time job, is I work in business financing, so I work with business owners all the time, and I see the different ways that I see businesses that aren't doing well, say within a corona economy, or after having an emergency happen, or seeing online stores that aren't functioning well, and a lot of it's because they lack communication with their customers. And so to see like such an open amount of communication, whether it's from addressing something when people said, hey, it doesn't feel like we're included, and being like, oh, okay, cool, let me include you right now. And then to the point of, you don't really need, a multi-$1,000 marketing budget. Sometimes you just need to create a thoughtful product and show people why it works. which is just
Yeah, and show
so cool.
care. You know, if something's not working, if somebody's had an issue, like I had some people come to me because I designed this line with the Mr. Limpies.
Right.
So then I had some people come to me and say, "Oh, I have a Mr. Limpy and it's not working." And so we do some troubleshooting and realize they bought it from Amazon and it's a knockoff and it's got huge balls.
Yeah.
So now I've gone through this thing where, this is my regular medium pouch.
Okay.
And then in the new year I'm releasing the Big Baller for
Big
the people
Baller.
For the people that have dicks with big balls, or some of them have the phallus will be up here and then the prosthetic testicles hang lower.
Yeah,
you know, because they're 3D, or there's some companies that are making those things. So I'm making a bigger pouch for that. So it's like I can't take on every request, obviously. Right. I've had a lot of people wanting different waistband, like a waistband without any logoing on it. Obviously, when I first started a business, I knew I needed to have something because I wasn't going to be able to take fully nude photos and people like this. I knew I needed a waistband that was instantly recognizable that I could market with. So, once that gains traction, yes, I want to make a whole stealth line. I want to make a whole nude stealth line. That's like the end goal, is to have the classic line, the designs, the florals, the fun stuff, but then also have something that matches a variety of skin tones. We want starting with 3 skin tones, and make it so that it feels actually more like it's a part of your body, not that it's like underwear that you're wearing.
But you do have to start somewhere. And I honestly, with all of the underwear that I buy and I have, almost all of them have a band with a bunch of logos all over it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I have had people reach out to me specifically and say that it's saying MyPack on it
makes them nervous. Right.
And I understand that people that experience a lot of dysphoria and they're really stealth in their life.
Yeah.
And that is my long-term goal for this company for sure. But that's thousands of dollars of investments. That's it's like what it took me to make one style, then that's like 4 more styles.
Right,
so
of course.
I'm saving up for that. Hopefully it'll be in the next year or two that I'll get to do that.
What else is in store for people in 2021? Like, you have, anyone who's following the brand, what's going to be happening? What are some of the fun new marketing things you're going to be doing? What can we look forward to?
God, honestly, I don't have anything planned. I just kind of make it up as I go. Okay, so yes, as far as I don't have ploys, marketing ploys, but as far as content, I want more body inclusivity. The pandemic has really damned me into having to, not damned me, I've had some really great models that worked with me recently, but into mostly being the model.
Right. What can you do?
So I would love, exactly, what can I do? But I would love, some bigger people, some femmer people, some more culturally diverse people, ethnically diverse people. I want to show some representation, definitely. And then, movement, athletics, what you're talking about, being able to do more video. We don't have a huge means of doing stuff. I have one kind of nice camera. It's an older Canon, but it's digital.
Hey,
but
it's something. It's something.
Exactly, and we just do the video on iPhones, and we're making it work.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Ideally, we have more slow motion videos for you. That workout dick flicks.
exactly. So I was thinking about doing that, but my attic is so creepy. It'd be almost like a scary movie with Donna, here's the dick print, Donna, and you see the bad lighting in the background and all the nails and stuff. But what I really like about the brand and also your own presence online is that your energy, obviously we don't really know each other, but it's very kind of what you said before about being able to use it anywhere, and how it was supposed to be. It's kind of like the brand, the Marlboro guy, or I
just said the Old Spice commercials.
Old Spice, exactly. So I love that though, because it's kind of it's such a normalization. It's we're wearing this, but we're wearing this while expressing ourselves in every possible way, and it's not a hindrance in any way. That's what I really, really like about it. So that's what I'm excited to see moving forward. Maybe we could do a contest or something, photo contest or something.
I want to put the more the merrier.
Yeah.
I don't want Instagram to cancel my account, but I wanted to do Dick Flick Fridays and all these sorts of things. My wife was like, "You're gonna get your account deleted if you."
Have they put a warning on any of your stuff so far?
They have. I've gotten 2 things removed, and they've already warned me that I'm in danger of losing my account. Of having it entirely. So I'm starting to be a little bit more cautious. The one that they didn't like was me doing a dick flick under a little sheer sheet. So I could see how that's sexual. I mentioned being a male stripper in the the caption.
It might have been an auto.
It was just a joke. I said 2020 is hard if you need to pick up some extra cash, you know?
Yeah, if you need to be on your OnlyFans shit, what are you gonna do?
Party or two.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I want it to feel like you said before, just really every day. I want to encourage people. You know, we talk about binding a lot and how much that helps people feel aligned, but we really don't talk about packing. It's been this like taboo thing. Actually, when I first started advertising the Kickstarter, I had like a handful of people be like, "Don't come on my page and talk about packers. You could, that could be triggering, blah blah blah." You know, and like I get that. I want to respect people's boundaries, but at the same time, like I want all my cis guy friends talk about their dicks together.
Right. Yeah.
I want to talk about my dicks with my guy friends.
Yeah, like, it has to be normal. That's where we need to go.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It is completely normal. And if we can talk about our experiences and what works and what doesn't work, you know, I'm honestly, my wife says all you talk about is dicks anymore, because I'm always talking about people about what they use and what the, you know, model is like, and, you know, especially designing the STP thing that I'm working on, you know, there's so many different styles that I'm like, what's the girth of your balls? What's the you know, like, how does it work? What's your experience?
Can I just take some quick measurements?
Yeah, oh, totally. I've had people take measurements for me, send me pictures, like, you know, because, again, it's all about getting input from people that are actually using it regularly. I can't just, like, you know, do this from imagination and be like, I think people are using it this way.
Or base it only off yourself.
Exactly, because I've only used whatever. I don't switch up my packer a ton because I feel that makes me feel weird. That makes me feel dysphoric. Like, this is my dick. It's been my dick for years.
You gotta be attached to it.
So, yeah, but other people have that same experience. So, you know, again, as much variety, and I'm always open for input, and I'll always make adjustments that I can.
You know, I can understand for some people maybe the talking about specific transitioning things are triggering. But at the same time, you know, kind of like, it's almost like the media and the world and society as a whole already has a dialogue for us. They already say what we are, how we are, what we do, what we look like if we've had the surgery, right? We do need to still inject our own voice, and our own voice is saying, these are things that work for us, and this is why it works, and here's why we feel good about using maybe this specific product. That's a big deal, and it's a big deal to build up or to invest in business owners and businesses that are having that conversation. So I can totally understand some people aren't into that, sure, but it is such a necessary thing to be happening, like, just from that stance, especially for, you know, if I imagine if I had seen something like this 6 years ago when I started my transition, when I was just baby trans and I was afraid of everything and I didn't know, you know, what I wanted to do with myself, like, it would have made me so happy to see people expressing joy, you know, and to not be afraid to talk about things. So I feel like, you know, I gained a little bit of a following years and years ago because I wasn't afraid to talk about things. And you do have to have people who kind of, in a way, trailblaze that kind of stuff. Not that I was, but just that as a whole, the community, we need different trailblazers. Okay, so do you have any specific thoughts in terms of, like, you know, while doing this, because you are kind of spearheading, like, a kind of a little bit of a movement with having these conversations, right? What are your thoughts on being a representative of the community, and what do you keep in mind while you're doing that, while you are representing the community?
I mean, I think it's just really important to be open and honest. You know, I've always been an open book. And just be positivity. I was going to say inspirational, but positivity, I think, is really, really powerful. Just being positive and being grateful.
Right.
Believe in people over profits every single day, you know, of the year. So this has always for me been a way to, like, share and build community and just kind of, like, you know, I don't know.
It makes total sense.
I want to be part of the community and be something positive for people.
Right. And I think the reason why I asked that is because I feel like that comes across so well in everything you do. Just from the way that you write out, you know, you'll write out specifically, like, your thanks all the time, literally, to the community around you. That's something you're always like, thank you so much. And then all the stuff you post where, what is it, the holiday one you just posted? What did you say in that?
Jingle balls.
Jingle balls. There you go, exactly.
Jingle your balls around the clock.
And it's just like, that's exactly how it should be, you know? Like, we know the statistics, and we know all the negative stuff, and we do need to be aware of that stuff. but also we need to find places where we can express joy, you know? And that's why, like, I was so excited to talk with you, because I knew, like, we'd have a great conversation, and also, like, this is something to be excited about. This is why I want people to know about it, you know? People should be able to go and see this and have fun, and maybe a couple people are a little bit less afraid about how they identify or buying something like this, you know? And then, okay, one more thing then. So your Kickstarter was really, really successful, right? There are a lot of people in our community who don't actually have the working capital they need right away to start a business like this. And that's a big deal, especially for more marginalized people, you know, like not specifically like black transgender people, any BIPOC at all. So what recommendations would you have for somebody who is considering launching on Kickstarter? What would make them more successful than maybe if they went into it like with less insight?
Well, I think the most important thing for any product is that you're solving a problem, right? You're introducing something that is needed and that isn't currently available. If you can do that and you've got a good product, then it's just about having the confidence to go after it.
Right.
You know, like you're saying, you know, like, how did you do this? What did you start? I just said, okay, I need to do this. Like, I need to make this work.
Right.
And I know it's a good product. I believe in it. When I want to share it.
Right.
And it, you know, it has value. So, you know, I just kept, it's like knocking on doors, except knocking on Instagram profiles. I was just like, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. And, you know, when it first started, I'd spend 2 to 3 hours every day just going through hashtags that related, you know, trans man, FTM, whatever, top surgery. And I would just comment on people's photos and be like, hey, like, give them a compliment, say, like, you know, because I do genuinely want to engage with people. Right. And some people be like, this is shallow, you're not really giving me a compliment. I'm like, no, like, I looked at your photo, I probably even looked at your profile too. You know, and
you're like, I definitely dropped a like for like I don't know, what's the problem?
But yeah, so I would just, and then I'd say, hey, you know, and if you happen to wear a soft packer, check out our page. This is something we're going to launch a Kickstarter for. Right. So then by the time the Kickstarter was launched, I already had like 1,000 followers on Instagram that knew what it was and knew why I thought it was going to work. Right. And so I already had like a captive audience, because you obviously, Kickstarter gives you two months. You can either do 1 or 2 months. I did 2 months because I didn't think I could raise the money in just a month. Right.
But you did, right? I
did end up doing it in the end, but I'm glad I had the second month because it allowed me to gain excess funding. So you can, whatever more people buy it, because they're buying a product. Right. And that's the other great thing about Kickstarter is that you make your prototype, you sell your vision, and then once you've got the money, then you make the product. Right. And so some people didn't realize that it wasn't made already, and they're like, why isn't it mailed right on September 8th? I'm like, because I still have to make it.
You're like, I don't even get the funds until September 8th. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get the funding for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. They have to verify everything too.
Exactly. They have to collect funding from everybody, and then they distribute it to you 3 weeks later. So I actually got everyone's projects done within a month after I got the funding, which was...
You must have been working all day, all night.
Dude, it was crazy, especially because our place burned down, and so we had to, like... It was just this crazy thing, but, you know, like... I knew that I had to make it happen because I had people relying on me, right? I've been selling this dream for months. Right. So I'm not gonna like be like, yeah, guys, let's get our dicks right, and then be like, psych, a fire happened. Like, you just persevere.
You're like, thanks for all the cash.
Yeah, thanks for all the cash. I'm gonna get an apartment because my house burned down. No, I mean, I really lucked out, and this wonderful person took us in and is letting us. Right. Put my yurt on their property, and we have our travel trailer that we're living in. So luckily we were like kind of nomadic already, and we had means to just kind of keep it rolling. Right. But you can't stop. You know, if you have something that you want to do and you believe that it can be a success, just keep taking one step at a time. Even if it is just making a sample and starting to market it to people and reaching out and messaging people and seeing if someone will wear it and take a picture or whatever, you know. But
or just seeing if someone likes it at all, you know.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've been at this now since, you know, it's been like a 9-month journey. Right? From me, like, first making the samples, taking not first making the sample, but taking photos of the samples and making the Instagram and getting people to follow. You know, we started that in March. Mm-hmm. And so to be where we are now, we're making, I think we made like $7,000 this month in sales, which is awesome. Yeah. And, you know, obviously some of that goes back to shipping, whatever, that's like the gross. but I never expected that right out the gate,
Right.
but it was just just keep doing a little bit every single day, a little bit every single day, and
Yeah,
you'll get there.
there's so many like sound marketing principles and everything you said too. Just from like when you look at it from that lens, like people think that they post something on Instagram with a couple of hashtags and then that leads to followers. Even if let's say you do happen to amass followers, it's not about followers, it's about engagement. And
Absolutely.
one of the biggest things with any small business and why people should be inspired to do it more often is that you don't need, people think like, oh, if I'm going to be successful, I need thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers. You need the first 100 people that believe in your vision. That's really all you need. People who say, I'm interested in the product, I'm here to support you through the product, let's see where it goes. Once you have that, you can not that you can do anything, because obviously you got to put the time in. This is 9 months of work for you. That's a long time. It's a short time in terms of if we think about maybe average businesses, right? But in all of that time, you had a marketing strategy. You ran really hard with Kickstarter just by having that 2 to 3 hours a day where you're reaching out to people. That's something not a lot of people do. And you created value while you did it too, because you're obviously showing something that's going to help people, and you're engaging with people on the platform itself. You're not just saying,
And that feeds back. It gives
right,
me engaging with people has been so beneficial for me too, because I don't, like you said, you read my stories all the time, and you're just reading people's reviews. People send me reviews because they know that I'm going to post them and share them with people, right? There's feedback loop of, I hear what you're saying and I'll share it with others, because that's the best. I mean, that's the best thing is from the words of someone else, is their personal experience with it, how it made them feel. I was actually like a little timid when I first started advertising it, to be like, and it'll solve this and it'll make you feel this great and it'll make it this way, because it's made me feel that way.
Yeah, of course.
But that it makes everybody else feel that way too is so much more powerful. Just having this whole community experience of like, yeah, we feel right now.
Right, of course. And I hope, honestly, I understand being timid with it, because you don't want to oversell something. It's way better to say, listen, I have this idea and I think it's going to be really awesome, and then outperform what anyone could even have imagined. Because that's how it was for me. I know what a Kickstarter is. I know I may not get something right away, and for some people, depending on what it is, it may not pay out at all, because sometimes people run into problems. That's how any business is. So for me, what I was putting my money into I wasn't putting my money into, the literal thing itself. I was putting my money into the idea, because the idea was so exciting that I knew it was going to turn into something. And then, having all this awesome marketing, it just 10 out of 10.
I like that.
I've really enjoyed, I love watching trans and queer people create businesses, and I love watching them grow, and I love seeing people like take it to the next level. So it's been such a treat just to watch it all, honestly. I think that's really all the questions I had. So that is it. Like I said, we did forget to record an outro. But I really do hope that you enjoyed the conversation that we had. This is part one of a multi-part series I'm going to be doing, where I'm speaking with queer and trans business owners and activists within our community. Go ahead and check out mypackftm.com. And then on Instagram, it is at mypackstrap. Give them a chance. If you need something you think a little bit more custom than what's on the site, just shoot him a DM. He's more than happy to help anybody with customizations, and figuring out what's going to work for them best if it's reasonable. Yeah, and go ahead and give me a quick subscription, give me a quick follow, like this video, share it with a friend if you think it's applicable to them. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more of these, and honestly, thank you so much for being around for all of this. I'm really excited for the year we have to come.